The mysterious drop in fentanyl seizures on the U.S.-Mexico border. Mysterious drop in fentanyl seizures. Yes, they said after years of confiscating rising amounts of fentanyl. I wonder why that was. The opioid that has fueled the most lethal drug epidemic in American history. Now we're admitting that. That's great. U.S. officials are confronting a new and puzzling reality at the Mexican border. Fentanyl seizures are plummeting, and it's a mystery, you guys. We have no idea. No.
I think.
I bet you don't know.
I think I've got it.
I bet you don't know. I bet you'll never guess.
I think I've got it. There's less people coming over.
Oh my gosh, I think you're right. Wait, so when you actually enforce the laws at the border, there are less people who can actually bring drugs into the country. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Also, the White House literally already announced their strategy. It was like a 6-point strategy to reduce the number of overdose fatalities with a focus on fentanyl, secure the global supply chain against drug trafficking, stop the flow of drugs across our borders and into our communities, and so on. So it's like, yeah, guys, this isn't rocket science. It just turns out whenever you secure the borders and you enforce the laws that are already on the books, and you don't just put Border Patrol out there to work as glorified travel agents and stamp people's papers as they go out and they're like, you super pinky promise that you are going to show up at court on this date? Oh, yes, I do. And with their fingers crossed behind their backs because they're terrorists and they don't give a shit about your laws. It turns out when you just have an administration willing to just do things, it results in less fentanyl being trafficked over the border. Like, are you guys retarded? Wait, don't answer that. I already know the answer. I want to play White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt talking about this WAPO article. Watch.
On the topic of immigration, the Washington Post just ran one of the most ridiculous headlines ever, even by their standards. And on my very first briefing several months ago, I said I would hold anyone accountable in this room. The Washington Post actually had this headline: the mysterious drop in fentanyl seizures on the U.S.-Mexico border. How is this mysterious? There is no mystery about why there is a decrease in fentanyl coming into the United States. This administration's strong border policies are the reason there has been a decrease in fentanyl trafficking.
That's why it's just, I mean, it is funny to make fun of these people because they really are retarded. But more importantly, it really is, it's maddening when you think about the amount of Americans, specifically, this is killing younger Americans, right? The amount of Americans who didn't have to die if it weren't for these open borders policies. Like, these were all preventable deaths if the Biden regime would have just enforced the laws on the border. And then you start thinking about all of the, I mean, how many people in this country died from fentanyl during the Biden regime? And it's like, that's a hell of a lot of Americans that would still be alive right now if that regime didn't intentionally bring these people and these drugs into the country. And I can't think of a word other than treasonous to describe that type of policy.
Yeah, it's always interesting though with me. I know I'm a little more cynical than you are because I look at it like, damn, when the government wants to be efficient, they can get some shit done. I find that kind of interesting. But anywhere else, we have to hear all these damn excuses about what they can and can't do. But yeah,
I mean, if there's one thing for the government to be doing,
that's the thing. I'm
it would be that.
Well, that is, especially with regards to like the executive branch, you'd think that would be one of the main things that they're doing, if anything else, and not all the dumb shit that they're doing, not only in the country but especially abroad. This is the thing that they're supposed to be tasked with doing, and oftentimes they seem to stray from the path. But yeah, I just find it interesting that is somehow something that, backtrack a little bit. It is kind of hilarious that these weirdos for any news agency would act like they're all confused, because definitely if that's a point of emphasis, that's something they want to invest all these resources in to actually, trying to halt. Well, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get less of it. It's not a rocket science. You don't need to be some sort of immigration lawyer, or you don't have to be one of those guys at one of these institutions getting those government grants trying to analyze why something is happening from an economic perspective. It's not a rocket science at all. You don't need to be an economist economists to figure out why the hell this is happening. But don't anticipate they're going to give credit where it's due.
Yeah, I'm reading over 270,000 overdose deaths. This was written last year, and it says thrust into the heart of U.S. presidential race. So you've got an administration, over 250,000, we know, Americans died on Joe Biden's watch during his tenure. 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl. Now, by the way, is there a chance that like a very small percentage of those drugs didn't necessarily come in through the U.S.-Mexico border? I guess, but I mean, that's the overwhelming supply chain. I don't know where else it would have come from, which, by the way, they're getting it from China. Don't even get me started on the process of how China is literally trying to poison and kill us in all sorts of ways that we just continue to turn a blind eye to.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing about this, going back to the title of that article and what they're trying to say, is they're not retarded. Well, they might be retarded, but that's disingenuous, of course, right? They know. They have always known. They ran block for this president, the past president. They didn't hold him accountable. They were meant to hold him accountable. And this is their way of kind of like, these aren't the droids you're looking for. Oh, we just discovered this. No, you knew all along, because it was said all along. And even if it wasn't said all along, you don't have to be an idiot to understand that open borders leads to things like this, leads to criminality. It's the same thing of like, oh, I don't know why all these rapes have gone down now. I have no idea why the crime has lowered in these border cities. It's like you knew. These people are the enemy of the American people. That's what they are. That's what they are. They know exactly what they're doing there. And we cannot let them get away with it. But they're dying anyway. Like, nobody cares what the Washington Post has to say. But it just shows you how absolutely anti-American. Because that's what it is. If you know, it's same with the George Floyd thing. He died of a fentanyl overdose. You think they care about that? You think they care about that? But no, they keep parroting the other narrative. They keep parroting other narratives. They're good people on both sides. Thank goodness we have a new administration. We have a giant problem with the news and with entertainment and media. Massive problem. It's huge. But the good thing is now under Trump, I feel that more people are going, I'm just not going to watch your movie anymore. I'm just not going to watch your television. I'm just not going to do this anymore. And they're finally waking up to the reality of what these people have done. I mean, and it is one giant block.
Right. Which is why places like the Blaze exist, which is why Eric has been so successful in comics with Rippaverse, because people are just like, I'm done. I mean, you're done with all of it on all fronts, right? It's not just the mainstream legacy media. It's not just, it's literally infiltrated every single aspect in our lives, in our culture. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like this guy's like, has a multi-million-dollar business, so I guess Americans are sick of it, right? Like,
that's not
let
wrong.
his success be a testament to the fact that Americans are sick of it, because they seem to be craving that type of content.
Well, I just think that considering Sarah hasn't traveled that much, that you should take her on your G5 and fly her all around the world.
Yeah, I do request that, Eric. Okay.
You can take her to your house in Lake Como. You can do that. It's okay.
I would feel much more comfortable in your G5. It's true. I would.
Don't shake a hand. You dare shake a hand.
Yeah. No, I just make sure that your pilots are not vaccinated with the COVID vax.
They're not women either.
And they're not women. Yeah. We're going for straight males. Right? Yeah, I no, you're right. And listen, I don't mean to give the Washington Post more attention than they deserve, which is none, but it is fun to poke fun at them sometimes.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. Well, they are bleeding subscribers because they did this dumb thing where they became so woke that nobody wanted to, like, anyone that was reasonable was like, I'm not subscribing to this. I'm not reading this shit. And then after this election, they turned around and they were like, we're going to hire more conservative voices. And then the only people that they had left who were the wackos were like, yeah, we're not going to support that. We're out. And so now they've alienated everyone. And I personally love to see it.
Yeah, that's why you got to support,
word.
as you said, you got to support those that have supported you and been true all along, because the Blaze has been steadfastly a voice of truth for many, many years. And
some of us have paid dearly for it.
yeah, and I think that Americans, I've said this, I've maintained this over and over again, Americans have a very, very good radar when it comes to the truth. And they're just sick of the lies, because it's lies upon lies upon lies. And the American public are just done with it. They want to get back to telling the truth. I mean, this is how stupid it is now. We're just like, can you just tell me the truth and then I'll figure out how I'm going to respond to that rather than lie to me?
Yeah, I agree. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.